Greetings folks, and I hope you have fava beans and Chianti in abundance wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for episode 5 of Grail or Fail. For the uninitiated, Grail or Fail is where we revisit a 1/6 scale action figure considered to be a classic and find out if the years have been kind to it. And today it's the turn of Blitzway's take on Dr. Hannibal Lecter, aka Sir Anthony Hopkins, from the Oscar-winning 1991 Jonathan Demme-directed classic that is Silence of the Lambs. Usual format, folks, and up close with everyone's favourite cannibal. Final verdict, and then we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the mini showcase at the end. But before we dive in, I'd like to send a Buffalo Bill-sized thank you to everyone who supported Go Figure. And please drop a like on this video as it helps other people find the channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the action figure goodness that we've got coming up, and trust me, there's a lot of it. It's also worth mentioning at this point as well, all the figures featured on Grail or Fail have been reviewed on the channel, so if you're wanting a more in-depth look at any of the figures you see, be sure to check out the channel homepage and you'll find them there. So, Blitzway released 2 versions of this figure back in 2018. The white prison uniform version, which is going to get its own video, and the Strait jacket version, which we're going to take a look at today. So, without further ado, let's get uncomfortably close to Dr. Chilton's prized asset and find out if 7 years have been kind to him. So, Dr. Lecter, we'll see you now. Let's get up close with Hannibal. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. This is an action figure. It's fully articulated, fully posable, but the nature of how this particular figure displays, I don't think you're ever going to be using an awful lot of that articulation, if ever at all, to be honest with you. Because it comes, why would you want to be honest with you, when you've got this fantastic sack barrow that is presented in, and what a great way to display him. It does come with the standard issue Blitzway stand as well, but as regulars to the channel will know my thoughts and feelings on that particular stand. It is pretty much a hot mess. It's the stand that was released with their Ghostbusters figures and their Carlito's Way figures, and it really is pretty much useless. And not Blitzway's finest hour, but as I say, why would you want to display him in anything other than this rather fantastic sack barrow, which is what we'll start with. So yeah, the sack barrow itself is made out of plastic mostly. There's a little bit of metal in there, but we'll take a look at that. But mostly it is this gunmetal painted plastic, which is really convincing as metal. I think for a 7-year-old piece, I think Blitzway have done a cracking job here. It does come off to the untrained eye as metal anyway. Very, very nicely done. The wheels are actually rubber. These aren't plastic, they're rubber, which is great to see. The metal portions on this sack barrow are these leg braces themselves. These are actually metal, which is a nice touch from Blitzway. Comes complete with padlocks, which are removable, so you can take him out of the barrow itself. Well, I'm calling it a sack barrow. To give it its full name, it's actually the Costway Stair Climber Hand Truck. Let's call it a hand truck from now on. So yeah, really nice job on the hand truck from Blitzway. Around the back here, you've got these canvas straps. Well, this bottom one is canvas, this green one, and this top strap is nylon to hold it in place. One around the thigh area and one around the shoulders. It's also got that tilt feature, which is a nice little touch that Blitzway have added. And if you extend this back section here and bring this little part down, what you can do is display him at that sort of 45-degree angle that we saw him in the film. Or if you wanted another figure pushing him, you could have that in your display as well. It's got these casters here as well, these free moving casters, once again with rubber wheels, which is great to see, and that whole thing clips back into place at the back of the hand truck itself. Moving up at the top, you've got this cushion going on. Now that's a one piece of sculpted plastic with some weathering on it, but I think you've done a really good job there, Blitzway. It's convincing as material. So overall, the sack barrow is the way to go. The hand truck is the way to go, I think, if you're going to display this figure. Let's have a look at the figure itself now. Plastic sculpted feet here, these trainers, which are screen accurate, really nicely done. Not the best I've ever seen, but as I say, a 7-year-old figure here, but you've got laces and you've got a sole on there, and the colours are right. The prison overalls that he wears underneath the straitjacket itself, really nicely done. There was a little bit of an argument, I think, when this figure was first released as to the colour of these and if it was accurate or not. It works for me, and I think it's the right shade. And the stitch work all over this thing, I've got to say, is really, really good. You can... regulars to the channel will know me and my OCD as far as 6-scale stitch work goes, and I think they've done a cracking job here. There are no threads hanging down, there's no missed areas. I think it's just really, really well stitched all over. The straitjacket itself in particular is a tour de force of 6-scale stitch work here, and it's made out of this it's sort of a cotton material, but it does come off as canvas, which obviously a straitjacket is. It's made out of that really heavy-duty canvas, and I think once again Blitzway have done a cracking job here, and they've weathered it as well, which is great to see. There's weathering on the arms, weathering on the front there. This thing doesn't look brand new. It looks like Hannibal has spent some time in it. And as I say, that orange prison overall runs all the way underneath this, and you can see it there in the collar area and the t-shirt underneath. So overall, I think the outfit is absolutely nailed on here from Blitzway. But let's take a look at the all-important head sculpt. Now, this did cause a few arguments out there in the collecting world. Now, as we all know, when a company releases prototype shots, sometimes they can differ from the mass-produced head sculpt that we finally get. But we'll take an up-close look at it. But before we do that, let's just remove this mask. I've got to do this super carefully because this is a very, very delicate mask. This now doesn't come with an awful lot of accessories, this figure, but it does come with 2 masks, and you get this one, if the camera will focus on it, which is the sort of the Grail mask that we see a few times in the film. This isn't my preferred mask, I've got to be honest with you. It's all made out of plastic. It's quite brittle, could easily break. It simply hooks over the ears, as you saw it there. The sculpt is right, and at first I thought the proportions were off on this, but having referred back to the film, the proportions are right with this. But I just think even though the proportions are right, it looks a bit goofy, and it's not my preferred way of displaying him. I prefer to use the second of the 2 masks, and I say it's a bit Spartan with the old accessories, this one, but this is my preferred mask, I have to say. Not the easiest thing in the world to attach, this one. The straps are plastic, the front section is plastic. The paint applications, the sculpts are really, really nice, and the weathering on there and that grill for the mouth and the nose hole are absolutely on point and screen accurate, but a bit of a ball ache to attach. These plastic straps actually clip into these holes on the side here, and I think it's probably more an age thing than anything else, but they've become a little bit loose over time, so getting this thing on and getting it to stay on can be a bit problematic, but it's my preferred look in the display. And we'll take a look at that when we're going for the final verdict. Is it a Grail or is it a fail? But let's have a look at this head sculpt now. Once again, this head sculpt caused, shall we say, some conversations in the collecting world. I think it's very good. Is it perfect? No. Is it 100%? No. Is it 90%? Yeah, I'd say it's about 90%. Hannibal Lecter, Sir Anthony Hopkins. I like the expression that they've gone for here with those gritted teeth, and it's pretty much replicating that one particular sequence, as I say, where he's taunting the senator. And I think they've captured that very, very well indeed. There are some issues here, as I say, not 100% perfect. I think the skin tone, the paint applications here are showing their age a little bit. He's way too tanned. It looks like Hannibal's been spent the past couple of years in the Bahamas and not in a dungeon cell with multiple MIGs. But I think the sculpt itself is pretty good. There are crow's feet around the eyes there. If I can get this camera to focus, the eyes are nice and glassy and the right colour. There's lines in the forehead there. The texture of the skin is very, very good. The hair itself, excellent, really, really well done. Individual strands in there. It's perhaps not as up to today's standards, but I still think it's pretty good. And you've got some grey streaking in there, which is in the movie as well. I think it was a brave choice of expression, and I think they've pretty much nailed it on. Not 100% though. I think, but for a 7-year-old head sculpt, yeah, I still think it's pretty damn good. Those teeth in particular, very, very well sculpted, very well painted. even down to those sort of slightly grey shadow areas under the eyes, blending in with the crow's feet. I think they've done a cracking job. As I say, spartan on accessories, this one. And what it did come with, and I'll try and drag this thing into shot, what you did get with this is this sign. Now, those who know the film will know that this doesn't really sort of go with the scene that they're trying to capture here. I think they threw in this accessory, but I mean it's a nice accessory to have. It's sculpted plastic, and it's got paint applications on there to give it that wood look. And it's the sign that Clarice Starling passes when she's running in the grounds of the FBI training centre, and it's got hurt, agony, pain, love it, and pride on there. And I think it's a great addition to the display, and sets off the figure really well. Even if it doesn't quite match the scene that it's meant to, it's meant to be replicating here with him on the hand truck. So. There you have it, folks. That is Blitzway's take on Hannibal Lecter, the straight jacket version. So let's go in for a final verdict. Is it a Grail or is it a fail? Okay, folks, so it's time to pass verdict on Dr. Lecter. Is he a Grail or is he a fail? I have swapped out those masks, and you can probably see here why I prefer this particular mask. Let's stop him from spinning, actually, so we can just take a look at him with this mask on. I much prefer this look. One, because I think it's more iconic, but two, because I think what it does do is it covers up what are the issues within that face. When you get this mask on, for me personally anyway, and it's just the eyes and the mouth, I think it looks far better. And I think it improves the head sculpt no end, which suggests to me that the issues with the head sculpt are in the lower part of the face. But yeah, is he a Grail or is he a fail? This is a difficult one, this. Now, on a personal level, it's a Grail. I've had both the figures. I have this one and obviously and the white suited prison version. And it took me years to bag them. Always wanted them in the collection, and on a personal level, they're a Grail. However, this is not about my personal Grails. This is about general Grails. And I've got to say, there are issues here. The head sculpt, the fact that there is no other option on how to display this. I think I've got to say, I don't think it is a Grail. Not a general Grail, if there's such a thing. Personal Grail, yes. General Grail, no. However, it's not a fail, and I've really set myself a task here. So it's neither Grail nor fail. So have I got to invent something down the middle? I think a Grail piece shouldn't be defined by its scarcity or the fact that it's a one-off and no other company's done one. I think a Grail piece should be defined by its quality. And so I don't think it quite makes Grail status. But as I say, it's most certainly not a fail. So what's the middle? What's the middle ground? You tell me. Just very good indeed, but not quite Grail. So that's the final verdict. We have invented a new category in Grail or Fail, the very good category, and Dr. Lecter most certainly falls into that. So there you have it, folks. Not a Grail, not a fail, but a very good. I hope this has been a bit of fun, and I hope you've enjoyed it. What's coming up on the channel? Well, in the 6 scale world, we have a raft of new figures from Hot Toys, In Art, Pure Art, Susu Toys, Present Toys. The list goes on. We've got retro reviews, we've got more episodes of Grail or Fail, more episodes of Don't Make Me Choose, and on the horizon, very soon indeed, is the new collection room tour video. So be sure to tune in for that. Hit that subscribe button so you're not missing it, and that bell notification icon. And I suppose all it remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching, as always. Take care of yourselves. From myself, from Dr. Lecter, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.